How's it guys, Munash here, back with more Alliance War, 8th War of Season 24, and today I'm just gonna swap out Dr. Doom for Warlock because of course we have another Apocalypse boss to take care of, so this will be the 4th or 5th one of the season. I think it's 5, but I know it's at least 4, but yeah, I mean I've lost count at this stage, so it's getting a bit old, but what you gonna do? So today we're on part 3, and we're actually gonna do a full part 3 because we are also boss rushing. So the plan is to clear Boss Island with just the 3 of us, then everyone else will have an easier time in section 2 because there won't be any more protect. Which is why I brought Quake, because she's pretty versatile and generally does well on part 3. Also they placed a Mystic Champ on the Brute Force mini-boss, so we can just Quake that pretty easily. But first up on part 3 we have Annihilus with armor, heavy-handed and Mystic Ward. So I didn't really have a use for Doom today, but I did bring Quake, who's also a pretty good Anus counter. It's weird saying Quake is a good counter, I mean obviously. And in other news, the grass is green. So yeah, just gonna go in with Quake and just do the usual heavy decks. There's nothing to worry about here, she can pretty much bypass all the nodes, and we're just gonna leave Annihilus just trying to hit us. Hitting air, woofing if you will. So it's nice having Quake for some of these fights just to bypass all these annoying abilities, because Annihilus is also one of those champs who's just designed to be a pain to fight against, because he's kind of an anti-player type of champ. You know, he just messes with some of your best defensive moves like blocking and parrying, because you can't always parry stun him when he has the rod, and when you do block him sometimes he applies those armor breaks and that random other debuff that I still don't know what it's called to this day, even though it's over a year old. Is it obliteration? Or just obliterate, I think, but whatever. I mean, the point is he's just really annoying to fight against in general. Also those special attacks that are just so punishing, that special 1 that catches you, that special 2 that's difficult to fully dex. The only saving grace is that you can at least shallow intercept him very easily. And of course you have nullify and slow debuffs to make him a lot easier. But I wish he was a bit better on offense, because I think he's a pretty interesting character. I remember reading his backstory a few years ago, and he's actually pretty powerful in the comics. He could actually be the next big threat in the MCU, like Thanos level. So I was a bit disappointed in that tune-up he got last year, because even though he's not a bad champ, like at all, I just feel like he should be so much better, you know? But that's MCOC for you. I mean, you get champs like Quake and Nick Fury, who are 2 of some of the most powerful champs in the game. Then you get champs like Sentry, who are more like the power of a million premium hero crystal shards. But yeah, that's all I had to do in section 1. Now moving on to section 2, and I have applied a lesser champion boost. So now we have a Human Torch with E.M.P modification, enhanced energy attacks, burden of might, and rolling thunder. So I am just gonna Quake this fight again, because that is the safest way to deal with it. As long as I don't get hit, nothing can go wrong, just have to do the usual heavy decks, and it should all be good. So yeah, not much I can say about this fight. It's just a Human Torch, perhaps not the easiest champ to Quake, but far from the most difficult. Not much to worry about here, even though he is literally on fire and trying to shag me in the corner. You'd think I'd be burning to death, but nope, those flames are just there for decoration obviously. To be honest, I was thinking of fast forwarding this fight because I don't have much to say about it, or at least nothing new that I haven't already said, because Quake fights are pretty similar in nature, you know, you just heavy, then you dex, then you heavy, then you dex, then guess what, you heavy again, and then you repeat that cycle. So yeah, I was thinking of fast forwarding this fight, but then I realized that if I can just talk for long enough about why I wanted to fast forward this fight, then maybe, just maybe I won't have to fast forward this fight. Or you guys can tell me in the comments, should I fast forward my fights that are pretty straightforward like this one, or should I just carry on rambling over them like I'm doing right now? Maybe I should throw in a bit more democracy and make a whole poll on YouTube asking this question. Also, I know some people find the Quake fights quite boring. Yeah, you don't have to tell me twice, I do read all the comments. But of course, that's not gonna impact my decision to bring her to war, because I just picked the best team for the fights that I need to take. And this combination of champs was pretty much perfect for this war. Okay, and Human Torch goes down. We made it. So yeah, not bad at all with Quake. Now we're gonna move on and carry on part 3. And now we have a Warlock with Chitinous Thorns. Yes, that's how you pronounce it, it's Chitinous. Boost buff armor up and enhanced armor up. So I was considering using Warlock for this fight since he is bleed immune. Also, he's a robot, so no willpower and no other way to trigger regen besides the special 3, so I can just avoid taking that power drain. And the degen damage. Doesn't hit hard enough to trigger protect, but he's also a large champ, so it doesn't really matter. But if I used Warlock, I would probably need to heal him up after this fight just for the boss. So I decided to use Quake because at least I have a chance, and a very high chance, of doing this entire fight without taking any damage. And honestly, I think it's easier for me to Quake this fight than to use Warlock for it, because I've Quaked Warlock at very least 50 times in War by now. And she's just so good for Warlock because he does something bad to you on contact, and Quake is just good for ignoring all forms of contact. So this war reminded me of the good old days, like back when we had tactics like dodge and flow. Actually, that was just a year ago. I don't know why I'm saying good old days like it was a generation or something, but yeah. What I like about Quaking Warlock, besides the practicality of it, is just the visuals. You know, Warlock has got some very interesting animations, and overall a very funky or quirky design. A lot more expressive than the average champ. He'll roll up to you in a ball, and then try to hit you with his head, and finish his combo by lying flat on the floor. And he'll appear to be smiling the whole time. So yeah, you gotta love Warlock. Very well designed character, both visually and in terms of practicality or usefulness. And we still had full health, which was always the plan, which is why I used Quake for this fight. Okay, now I'm gonna move up to Professor X with explosive personality, enhanced armor up, and heavy-handed. So I'm gonna use Nick Fury for this fight because I like Nick Fury. And I like using him. I don't really... Well, Quake wouldn't work because, you know, Professor X counters evade. Warlock can work and he has class advantage, but once again I want to save his health for the boss. So I might as well use Fury because I only have one more fight to do with him after this. Which is not too difficult, and I'll still have the decoy, which makes it even more comfortable. But Fury is pretty good for Charles in general, since he can't miss when he has at least 5 charges. And then he just has good damage. Just need to drop those light attacks and parry before I bait out the falter, just so he can't punish me. Now I want to throw the special one when I have almost 2 bars of power, just so I can throw the next special one soon after that. Then I should have at least 7 charges. So no more miss, the fight is even easier now. So I can just punish whenever I want. And he's going down a bit faster because I can play a bit more aggressively now. Just need to maintain those 5 charges to keep on that miss counter. So a very comfortable fight. And yeah, he goes down. Alright, that's my section 2, and now we get to the boss rush section of the war. So as usual, I just wake up and I see that the whole thing is already clear besides my 3 fights. So let's just get onto the war map and apply some boosts. Gonna apply some big boy boosts because, you know, got 3 more big boy fights and we don't want to mess up. If we do mess up, we want to have a bit more damage or a bit more health to make up for it at least. And of course, top up Nick Fury just a little bit, you know, it's just 1 health potion. I do have a few in the stash now because I buy 1 a day, but I haven't really been using them that much in the last few wars. Okay, so now we have the power of a greater champion boost and a lesser attack boost behind us. So the first mini boss I'm taking is going to be this rank 3 Cosmic Ghost Rider with Stunning Reflection, Polka Dot Power, and Stun Vulnerability. And I'm using Nick Fury for this fight because he actually does work pretty well for it. Not the best counter, CGR is bleed immune, so Fury's damage is gonna kind of suck in this fight. And I'm not gonna lose the decoy, so I'm gonna be playing with Nick Pui damage for the entire fight. So the strategy for this fight is, first of all, don't parry, you know, that's the first thing you wanna do, otherwise you will get stunned for a very long time. Then just bait the heavy attack to get an easy opening. Punish, drop a combo, but instead of ending it, you actually wanna backdraft and then throw a light attack to intercept. Push him to 1 bar of power and then you can end your combo with the medium attack since he is bleed immune. Then just bait the special one, dex it, and you dex that last hit slightly early just so you can punish it pretty reliably. And that's about it, like that's all there is to it. So now as long as you don't get hit, you will never trigger that 5th judgment and get the damnation. Though I'm not sure how much damage it actually does, if it scales with nodes or not. But it shouldn't be too bad because it's based on Sig level, and he doesn't really need the Sig. So that's just if he's awakened, unlike this one. This one will just power lock you, which makes no difference in this fight since I can't gain power anyway, due to Polka Dot Power and him being immune to bleed. So it'll just give me some willpower healing. So Nick Fury doesn't actually work well for this fight. He just can get it done because it's actually a very straightforward fight. Or rather, it's a very simple fight, as in you don't need a specific counter for it. He's not a large or extra large champ, so no protect. So to me it's a bit of a funny placement because I can kind of see why one would place him here since he is Incinerate immune. Can't use the usual counters like Human Torch or Hyperion. He's not poison immune though, so you could use one of the Abominations or Black Widow Clairvoyant to counter the node. But the thing is, you don't even need to counter the node. That's why I find it funny, because I'm just using Nick Fury and he is not doing the big boy damage that we're used to seeing. He is not bypassing any ability or any node, he's just hitting him and hitting him until he inevitably goes down. I was considering bringing Human Torch, then I'll take this fight with him. But I brought Fury instead because he gives all hero champs in your team an extra 10% attack. Like, that is literally the only reason why I picked Fury over Human Torch today. They both work well on the fights I was going to use them for, but Fury just gives Warlock and Quake a little bit more firepower. I imagine Human Torch with the Flame on would get this fight done faster than Nick Fury. But honestly, it's an easy enough fight with Nick Fury that I don't mind it taking an extra minute or two even. So I'd rather just bring him and get a free lesser attack boost. And yeah, he goes down. Might have taken almost 3 minutes, but I only lost about 4% health. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the second last fight, where we have a Longshot with the best defense, Brute Force, Spry, and Limber. So I'm gonna Quake this fight like in the previous war. Since he is Mystic, should be a pretty straightforward fight. And I'm also going to use a combat regeneration boost because I wanted to see how much health I would have after the brute force expires if I were to use that boost. But the thing is, brute force degen only triggers after 6 seconds, so the boost is pretty much useless for the first 6 seconds of the fight. So in terms of counteracting the degeneration, it's kind of like its duration has been lowered by 25% because that's when the degen triggers. So by the time the regen expires, there's still about 33% left on the degen. Then when the degen expires, I have about 61% health, which means it's not safe to Quake champs without class advantage with brute force. Because I only gained 11% health from that boost, and 11% is not good enough for Quaking in war. Opponents are likely running Assassin Mastery, and it only takes 1 point. Level 1 Assassin is enough to cause your evade to fail. But it's nice being able to brute force some of these fights with Quake, just makes them a lot more simpler. No need to worry about Limber, just means less stun duration when you get Aftershock, but it's not really a big deal, you just carry on Quaking. And Longshot is a relatively easy champ to Quake animation wise. Not too difficult to identify the combo enders. And the speed as well, he's not too quick, so you have plenty of time to react. I can even stop after the 3-hit combo, so instead of dexing nothing after that 3rd hit, I will just stop and then hold the heavy again, and wait for the next combo. Alright, so this 4-fingered freak is about to go down. Should be just one more Aftershock after this, a very comfortable fight with Quake. If I didn't use the combat regen, I would have ended with 50% health, so yeah. Not too bad. And now we have the rank 3 Apocalypse boss, the most exciting fight of the war. Right, so pretty standard fight with Warlock. And I had a very weird interaction early in this fight where I just had dropped inputs, like nothing was happening or working for me at the start of the fight. Because I tried to block and he didn't block. I just got hit, I took a full combo and lost about 45% of my health. Which was very annoying to start the fight like that, especially because now I'm already on the back foot and I can't take that much blocked hits, or at least I can't take too much blocked damage, so I need to be able to manage the fight and dex the special attacks fairly well, just to make sure I don't die from the block damage. But still, I was not too worried about it because this is a fight that I've done at least 5 times now, so I'm very comfortable with dealing with it. You know, I've been fighting Apocalypses almost every day in Alliance Quest, so I'm very comfortable with those special attacks. Although I usually use Guardian, but still, only blocking that 2nd hit of the Special 1 projectile makes dealing with it a lot easier. Special 2, not too difficult to dex at this stage, the timing is pretty much ingrained in my head now. Can also easily identify his combo enders now, and can reparry a lot of his combo. So about halfway through the fight we were almost at equal health. so I basically managed to catch up at least. But yeah, I just need to hit him about 175 times and then he will go down. So I eventually finished this fight with about 20% health left, which isn't bad considering I lost about 40% at the beginning of the fight. So that completes another successful boss rush. Now everyone else in section 2 will have a much easier time. So a pretty good war. We did end up winning this one and are slowly but surely climbing back into Master. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I'm not gonna do too much talking on this Apocalypse fight because I've kind of already done it before several times. But as always, thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.